Hello, welcome to the A to Z YouTube channel. My name is Toby Allen. I'm the A in A to Z and I'm in charge of songwriting, producing and engineering. One of the things that comes under my umbrella is drums. So whether that is drums that are recorded live with a drummer and mic'd up kit, or whether that is programmed drums, that's what I'm in charge. One of the things that I'm in charge of. So with that in mind, we're checking out today the DrumForge sampler, which has just come out with Matt Greiner. We wanted to get involved with this one because it's produced by Atrium Audio, which is Carson Slovak and Grant McFarland. We mentioned them a couple of weeks ago on the new Tone Hub pack. Ruben is a big fan, in particular, of Carson and Grant and all of their work, so he's very keen to get involved in anything that they put their name on. I really like their work as well, and I really like August Burns Red, which of course is the band that Matt Greiner drums for. So let's have a quick look at what we've got here. First, I've got a Pro Tools session. I have got the Guitar Pro tab for August Burns Red song Cutting the Ties. I've exported that as MIDI into Pro Tools. I've exported the drum MIDI and run that into Easy Drummer for some humanization, just to make sure that everything's there and performed correctly, and then put that MIDI into Pro Tools, and we have DrumForge Matt Greiner loaded up on that. So let's just run through the interface of the plugin. First off, we have the build page, which is where you would select your shells and your cymbals for your kit. And you're able to choose from 2 kicks, 7 snares, 7 toms, a hi-hat, a ride, 5 crashes, 5 chinas, 2 splashes, a stack, and 2 bells. There's a few presets you can choose from here. And some of those are dry, some of those are processed, because there is built-in processing in the DrumForge samplers, which we'll come back to. The next page we have is the edit page. Now, for each of the cymbals and the shells, you can actually mix the individual microphones. So with these ones, you've got direct, overhead, room 1, room 2. If we go across to, say, the kick, then we have in, sub, overhead, room 1 and room 2, and with the snare you've got top, bottom, overhead, room 1, room 2, and you can actually audition those on their own. So if you solo, for example, room 2 and click the snare, you can hear them individually or as a combination, or whatever you like. You can mute specific microphones, customize that. You can pan them as well, and you can also swap the left and right. So if you want to have audience perspective or drummer's perspective, you can very quickly swap the left and right on there. You've also got attack, sustain and release, and you can actually are able to change that for each of the microphones, not just one control for the whole shell or cymbal. You've also got a velocity curve. You've got some sample controls on here as well. You've got separate samples for left hand and right hand hits. And then you've got configuration here, so you can change the pitch of the shell. You can also use the alternate function. So what this does is it automatically will alternate between left and right hits, whether it's a kick, left and right feet, whether it's the snare and toms that are left and right hand hits, and you can adjust the threshold on that. So to decide when it is it cuts in to have that feature to switch between a single hit and alternate hitting. So that adds some extra realism in the fills and double kick runs and blast beats in particular. The next thing you have is the Songbuilder. So you have a MIDI groove library that you can browse through. You can drag specific sections for specific parts of songs. So you've got here intro, verse, chorus, bridge, breakdown, etc., and drag those into your DAW and create a song. So if you are making a demo and you've written out the guitar for a song, you play through it and record that, then you can then drag in the drums and create your arrangement that way. Then we've got the mix tab. On here we've got mixing for all of the different parts of the kit. You have individual fader for each direct microphone. You've also got, if you go into, let's say, the bell here, you have a little folder here which will show you the individual microphones for that instrument. And then you can also run different processing. So you've got like saturation, compression, EQ, clipper and reverb. The other thing you can do is with this green plus here, you can add in a one shot. So if we go to the snare, for example, we can press the green one, That will then pull in one-shots which you can load up. You can choose different files in your hard drive. If you have all of your drum shots from DrumForge into one folder, it will actually show them on here and you can find them and they're categorized nicely. I haven't set that up yet. You also have buses, so you can run your individual instruments into a bus. So for example, we've got shell bus, cymbal bus, and then full drum bus. You can also, instead of running out to the different outputs that way, you can also output into your DAW. So you can do all your processing in the DAW. If you wanted to print them down to send off to a mixer, when I'm going to be using this and sending it over to Ruben, I'll output these to different tracks in the DAW so that I can bounce them all out as if they were live recorded drums. So you've got the controls here for the different effects. So on this page, on the overview, you would select them on and off, and then in here you'd actually control them. So you've got the saturation, compression, EQ, clipper, reverb, and then your sends. So you've got a lot of control, and I think that's one of the things that's kind of underrated in the DrumForge sample libraries, is how much control you have for processing within the one plugin. So if you want to keep your session tidy and only have one track for the drums, but you still want to do lots of processing, you have a lot of options available to you, which is really useful. And then the last page we have is the mapping page. So here I've put it onto Guitar Pro simply because I'm using a MIDI export from Guitar Pro, so that makes the most sense. But you also have some other ones here, Easy Drummer, Greiner, so that's the default mapping for this one. Then you also have the DM10 and the Roland TD30. Those are going to be for, I imagine, E-kits. You're wanting to use that to control this plugin. You've got some mappings there already. Superior Drummer 3 if you're dragging in MIDI from Superior, and you've got Stephen Slate drum. I was going to say solid state drums. Stephen Slate drums here as well. So you've got quite a lot of options with regard to your mapping. If you make your own custom map, you can save that, and you can, if you have someone else who's made a mapping for you, you can load that. So that's all the features. Let's hear how it sounds. I'm going to change over to the Studio Kit 2 to see how that sounds. And let's try Studio Kit 3. Studio Kit 3 is interesting because it's got 2 snares, so those are blended together to add extra oomph to them. I guess the nearest thing to this, if you were in a real world scenario, would be running trigger on the snare as the drummer is playing, so you get an additional sample being played as he plays. So let's hear how that sounds. I'm going to check out some of the live kits as well. Here's Live Kit 2. And this is Live Kit 3, which has another 2 snares on this one. So there you have it. That is the Matt Greiner DrumForge sampler kit. I really like it. That sounds really great, and I imagine I'm going to be using that on, well, we've got an August Burns Red session open here, so I feel like there's going to be an August Burns Red cover in the works. So it's just nice to be able to have more variety of kits available for when we're doing programming and things. So yeah, I really like this one, and it will be getting a lot of use in the future, I think. So thanks very much for watching. If you like what you see, give us the thumb. If you want to see more of this, hit the subscribe, because we've got new videos coming out every Sunday.